Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 18th. It is Wednesday morning, and it's 6 a.m. here in Tennessee, here in Nashville. And this is the morning show of Guru Bilitis. Right now, more developing leads are coming out of Tucson, Arizona, of the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Then, yesterday, Monday's mass shooting that left 3 dead and also the perpetrator. What details do we have? And civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, his life and legacy as civil rights leader and Americans, and one of the most famous Americans ever. I'm Kura Bilitis. This is all coming up on the morning show with Kura Bilitis. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 18th. It is Wednesday morning here in Nashville, Tennessee. We will get to the legacy of Jesse Jackson, but right now we are going to get to that developing or that mass shooting that happened on Monday afternoon in Pontiac, Rhode Island. So I came on the air during the One Nation with Kura Bilitis to talk about this. So the death toll has risen to 2 individuals and also the perpetrator dead. Now we know who the perpetrator is. She was a son of a player who was playing on the hockey team where this shooting took place. She was a transgender woman, and she died by probably suicide, what the police believe. She was a 56 transgender woman, and days before she had this mass shooting, she was posting very disturbing stuff on X, what some people would call it Twitter. So that was some of the leads out, but there was multiple agencies, including the Bureau of Tobacco, Firearms, Explosives that was on the scene, also Rhode Island State Police and local authorities, and the FBI is handling this case. That is all we have right now. And now we are going to go to our main topic right now. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie, a 54-year-old woman who was taken from her home in Tucson, Arizona. Daughter of Savannah Guthrie, NBC anchor of the Today Show, also the anchor of the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade and Rochester Christmas tree lighting celebration, and she's the chief legal correspondent. Now, right now, no leads. Pretty much, there is zero that's happening in Tucson. No leads, no suspects detained. Suspects that were detained have been released. So, right now, the sheriff is sending a glove to the DNA testing site in Florida to try to get DNA samples of who this person is. Now, that is one developing lead. Another one is they couldn't find any DNA, the suspect. So, right now we have zero nada of this woman. Now, she is 84 years old. And I talked about this, where they could be. She is probably, if she is alive, we are going to week 3. Now, when she was kidnapped in the first couple days, the sheriff of Pima County said that she needs her medication or it will be fatal. That was the first couple days. Now we're going into week 3. And Nancy Guthrie, she was born in Kentucky. She was raised, and her husband died in 1988. She's been living alone in that house in Tucson for all those years. I just want to say, she could be anywhere in the U.S. She could be out of the states. She could be halfway across the world. But I'm just trying to make a point. I'm not saying that she is deceased. I am not saying that it's not saying that she is 100% deceased. If she is alive, if her kidnappers or people that got her had or found medicine for her and she's still alive, she she is still in the Tucson, California area because there's been more ransom letters sent to TMZ. There's more ransom letters sent to 2 local stations in Tucson. So we don't know where she is. We really don't. And there was one person detained a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, at the border. Then he was released. Then last Friday we had 3 people at home 2 miles from the home, from Nancy Guthrie's home, that was detained, and also another one that was detained by a car in a Culver's parking lot. They were later released. There's been points that we've gone to maybe 75% of cracking this case back down to 0. And and I don't think this will happen, but there was a kid here in Tennessee, just about 60 miles north of here where I am, in Sumner County, Tennessee. Now his name was Sebastian Rogers. He was dyslexic, and he was autistic and dyslexic. Now he went missing 2 years ago, pretty much on this exact week, 2 years ago, and he hasn't been found ever since. Now this hit national media, but not like this. The FBI is involved. Homeland Security was involved. A private investigators were called in. So and still to this day, they don't know where he is. And he lived in a subdivision of hundreds of homes, and pretty much, I would say 75% of all those homes have Ring doorbell cameras. And this area where Nancy Guthrie lives, and I'm not saying that she's not going to be found, maybe not like this kid, but where she lives in well, not dense, but the area, if you go on Google Maps, there's neighborhoods, hundreds of millions of dollars of homes all around her. Now they probably have great security and all that, and they're all gated. Now I don't know if her home or her neighborhood was gated, but if you go on her exact where her home is, she lives in a very like a forest, just with homes probably every couple of hundreds of yards. Now, if they don't have video of a car that has been pretty much maybe casing streets maybe for a couple days or a couple months, if they don't have somebody walking maybe along casing the streets for the past couple months or days before her disappearance, then the police have a problem. The police have a very big problem. There will be no progress happening. Now, I hope and I pray that Nancy Guthrie is still alive, and I also hope that she comes back safely to her 3 children, Camden, Annie, and Savannah. And I hope that with my heart that she comes back home safely and sound without any scratches. But the case is, as we go from month to month to month, that likelihood is going to drop significantly. So I say that just, I hope that she comes back, and my prayers are with the Guthrie family. But we go to the timeline. This around 1:47 a.m. on February 1st, a Nest or doorbell camera picked up a person. Now around 2:30-ish in the morning, 2:22 actually precise, her pacemaker was disconnected from Bluetooth. Now he had a good 30 minutes, and just to say, he had a good 30 minutes to case the house, case where the cameras are, case where the floodlights are, and she has floodlights. If they detect the person, then they light up. So he had a good casing of the area. Now, I don't know what I don't know if he was outside, if this individual was outside the entire time before he broke in, but he had a good 30-ish minutes of just walking around the house. And this is a very large house. This has a pool. This has a very big open green space. It's one level, and it's a very, very nice house. Just sitting in the middle of a dead spot with no homes nearby. Nearest homes is in a couple hundred yards, like I just said. So this individual had a great, really had a lot of time. Oh, well, not great, but had a lot of time of casing this home and finding out the strong spots of if he was caught or not. So I say that, and that's pretty much that's what I all have. That's what I all have, and I've gone from where she could be, of what could happen, or what else. And there's been some people that have, yes, like I said, been detained and released. There's some, we've had DNA samples, we've had stuff might have been used by the individual, that was found at Walmart, or the police think where he got his items. So that's where I stand right now. But when we come back, we talk about a little bit more news. We'll talk about Jesse Jackson, long-term civil rights leader that died today, and we'll talk about some more stuff when we come back. I'm Cleaver Bullets. You're watching The Morning Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me again. I'm Cooper Bullets. If you are getting sick of the mainstream media like Fox, ABC, NBC, and can't get the trusted news source, then never ever miss an episode of the Cooper Bullets podcast show. Right now, I will go in depth with your trust to give you the most accurate news source in America, not propaganda. Some of these television stations give you propaganda, but not here on the Cooper Bullets show. So watch me every morning on the morning show with Cooper Bullets, and watch me every weekend on the One Nation with Cooper Bullets show, and watch me every morning for your sports. Well, watch me every day for your minute of the top news headlines and sports on Sports Minute and the Bullets Minute here on my channel. Now, back to me. We're back this morning here on the morning show with Cooper Bullets. So right now, Iran and the U.S. are having nuclear talks. Right now, the background of this, if you did not, well, pretty much every American knows, back in June, late June, there was a war, the Israel and Iran war, where Israel surprised attack on Iran and killed mostly of their generals and government people and Iranian nuclear scientists. So the U.S. helped Israel of clearing these nuclear facilities, blowing them up and decimating them. What President Trump has said, Iran, that's different. That's a different thing. But Iran and U.S. have had progress, what I've been told, with these nuclear talks. Now, right now, I'm just going to say, President Trump has expressed if these talks fail, that Iran will be hit very, very hard. And there's already pretty much tens and tens of naval ships. There's 2 Navy flocks that are there. There's F-35s that are on their way to the Middle East actually right now. And there's 2 Navy destroyers, not Navy destroyers, 2 aircraft carriers that are in the region. And this is what happened before the Venezuela operation, or whatever you think, capture of Maduro. The U.S. sent 2 aircraft carriers, to the Caribbean Sea, where then on January 3rd they captured Nicolas Maduro, the incoming president. So this could be another scenario or 2.0 of this, not of like kidnapping the supreme leader of Iran, but striking them very, very hard in this case. Another thing that we have right now is that Mayor Mandani of New York City has a $127 billion budget plan that will improve infrastructure in the city of New York, make parts of transportation in New York free, and other parts of his agenda that he has expressed, that he promised his supporters in 2025 mayoral election, and this will increase New York property taxes. Another thing we have right now, the Olympics just wrapped up week 1, and let me tell you all about that right now. Right now, of 2026, Norway with 31 medals. That is number 1 with all medals. Number 2, Italy with 24, and number 3, the USA with 21. Now, there has been the U.S. is increasing. The women's will be playing Canada for the gold medal. The men's hockey team a couple days ago won against Denmark. I don't know who they're playing next. It is undecided right now, but it's a very big week in Milan right now. So that is what we have right now. Also, later this week we will be talking about more individuals, presidents, prime minister, or delegates from other countries are coming into Washington to sign the Gaza peace plan. That peace plan is that this is a peace plan for Gaza and the Israel war, to let Gaza be rebuilt and Hamas lay down all their weapons. This is part 2 of President Trump's peace plan. Part 1 was release all the hostages that Gaza had back to Israeli custody, and that's what happened. That's what happened early, couple months more ago, back in I think February or October. That's what we have right now. When we come back, we will talk about the legacy of Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader. All coming up on this morning's show, the morning show with Cooper Blitzes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here on the morning show with Cooper Blitzes. So this morning, news broke out across major media places this morning of the legendary Reverend Jesse Jackson, longtime civil rights activist, also ran for president in 1984. He was 84 years old and died in Chicago, Illinois this morning. He was the U.S. Shadow Senator from the District of Columbia from 1991 to 1997. That seat was established. He ran for president in 1984. He also ran for president in 1988. In 1984, he ran as a Democrat Party individual and lost later that election. He was a very big key speaker for civil rights movements. Martin Luther King portrayed him as like a son to him. He helped people with civil rights and everything else. Al Sharpton can express his condolences this morning too for Reverend Jesse Jackson. And death and contribute President Donald J. Trump, Al Sharpton, and many other, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and other U.S. senators and former presidents have expressed their condolences to him and the family. That's all that we have this morning here on the morning show. Don't ever miss a morning show every morning. Some days on the Cooper Blitzes Network. Subscribe, people. I need to get to 200 subscribers and view my videos more. Share, like, subscribe. I'm Cooper Blitzes. This was the morning show. Have a wonderful Wednesday, February 18th. I'm Cooper Blitzes. Thank you.